She scrubs the marble floors of the Delgado estate every Tuesday and Thursday, her knees aching, her hands raw from bleach. The birthmark on her left shoulder blade, 3 overlapping circles like a clover, has been hidden under cheap cotton shirts her entire life. She doesn't know that same mark appears in a faded photograph locked in a safe 3 floors above her head. She doesn't know the man who owns this mansion has been searching for that birthmark for 20 years. Sofia Martinez moves through the grand foyer of the Delgado estate with practiced efficiency, her cleaning cart rattling softly against the pristine marble. At 23 years old, she's been working as a housemaid for 6 months, one of 12 staff members who maintain the sprawling Chicago mansion. It's good work, better than the diner job she had before. The pay is decent, the hours are long, and most importantly, nobody asks questions about her past. The August sun streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating dust particles that dance in the light. Sofia pauses to wipe sweat from her forehead with the back of her hand. The estate is beautiful in a way that makes her chest ache. Imported Italian marble, crystal chandeliers that probably cost more than she'll earn in her lifetime, artwork that belongs in museums. This is a world she'll never belong to, and she's made peace with that. Her shoulder throbs the old ache that comes with weather changes. She rolls it carefully, feeling the familiar tightness. The birthmark there has always been sensitive, raised slightly above the skin. As a child, other kids called it ugly. Her adoptive mother, Maria, used to kiss it and say it made her special. Maria's been gone for 3 years now, taken by cancer that ate through their savings before it took her life. Miss Martinez. The voice makes Sofia jump. She turns to find Luis, the head of security, watching her from the hallway entrance. He's in his 40s, built like a brick wall, with eyes that see everything. Mr. Delgado wants to see you in his office. Sofia's stomach drops. Did I do something wrong? Just go upstairs. 3rd floor, East Wing. Luis's expression reveals nothing. The elevator ride feels eternal. Sofia has never been above the 2nd floor. The staff areas, the kitchen, the main entertaining spaces, that's her world. The 3rd floor is private, off limits, where Dante Delgado conducts the business that everyone whispers about but nobody discusses directly. She knows what he is. You'd have to be blind not to. The men in expensive suits who visit at odd hours. The security detail that rivals the Secret Service. The way people's voices drop to whispers when they mention the Delgado name. Chicago's North Side belongs to him, and everyone knows it. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. The elevator opens directly into a reception area. More marble, more luxury. A woman sits at an ornate desk, her makeup perfect. Her suit, probably worth Sofia's monthly rent. Sofia Martinez? The woman doesn't smile. Go ahead. The office beyond is massive. One wall is entirely windows overlooking the Chicago skyline. The others are lined with bookshelves and expensive art. And behind a desk that could double as a small car sits Dante Delgado. Sofia has seen him before, of course. Glimpses as he moved through the house. Brief moments when she pressed herself against walls to let him pass. But she's never been this close. Never been alone with him. He's 42, she knows from staff gossip. Dark hair threaded with distinguished gray at the temples. Sharp features that might be handsome if they weren't so severe. He wears a black suit that fits him perfectly, a white shirt open at the collar, no tie. Even relaxed, he radiates controlled power. Miss Martinez. His voice is deep, measured. Please, sit. Sofia perches on the edge of a leather chair that probably costs more than her car. Sir, if this is about the vase in the library, I was very careful, but it's not about a vase. He leans back in his chair, studying her with dark eyes that miss nothing. How long have you worked here? 6 months, sir. And before that? I worked at Rosie's Diner in Pilsen. Before that, I was in school. She twists her hands in her lap. Is there a problem with my background check? I was honest about everything. Your background check was thorough. He opens a folder on his desk. Born Sofia Elena Rodriguez. March 15th, 2001. Adopted at 6 months old by Maria and Carlos Martinez. Carlos Martinez died when you were 8. Maria Martinez passed away 3 years ago. You have an associate's degree from community college. No criminal record, no debts beyond student loans. He looks up. Is that accurate? Yes, sir. Her throat is tight. Why does he know all this? Why does he care? Your adoption was handled through Street. Catherine's, a private Catholic agency. The records are sealed. Sofia's spine straightens. I don't understand what this has to do with. Have you ever tried to find your biological parents? The question hits like a physical blow. Sofia's breath catches. No. My Mama Maria, she was my real mother. I never needed to look for anyone else. Something flickers across Dante's face. Respect, maybe, or pain. It's gone too quickly to identify. For a moment, his severe demeanor seems to crack, revealing a glimpse of vulnerability beneath the controlled exterior. His next question comes with an intensity that surprises her. I'm going to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me. He stands, moving around the desk with predatory grace. Do you have any distinguishing marks? Birthmarks? Scars? Every instinct screams at Sofia to lie, to run, but his eyes hold hers, and she finds herself nodding. A birthmark. On my left, shoulder blade. Can you describe it? 3 circles. They overlap, kind of like a clover. Her hand unconsciously moves toward her shoulder. Why are you asking me this? Dante is very still, too still. When he speaks, his voice is rough. Show me. Excuse me? I need to see it. Please. This is wrong. Every professional boundary is being shattered. But something in his expression, desperate hope mixed with fear, makes Sofia stand. Her hands shake as she turns her back to him and pulls down the collar of her shirt, exposing her left shoulder blade. The silence stretches so long that Sofia starts to turn back around. Don't move. His voice is barely a whisper. She hears him step closer, feels the air shift. Then his fingers, gentle, trembling, trace the outline of the birthmark. The touch is feather-light, almost reverent. Dios mío, he breathes. It's you. After 20 years, it's really you. Sofia pulls her shirt back up and spins to face him. Dante Delgado, the man who controls half of Chicago's underworld, has tears tracking down his face. I don't understand, Sofia says, her own voice shaking. What are you talking about? He moves back to his desk, opens a drawer with hands that aren't quite steady, and pulls out a photograph. He holds it out to her. Sofia takes it. The photo is old, faded. It shows a much younger Dante, maybe early 20s, sitting beside a beautiful woman with dark hair and warm eyes. The woman holds a baby, and in the corner of the photo, barely visible where the baby's hospital gown has slipped, is a birthmark, 3 overlapping circles. Her name was Isabella, Dante says quietly. My wife, your mother. The room tilts. Sofia grips the edge of the desk. No, that's not. I was adopted. My birth parents didn't want me. Your birth parents were murdered. The words are flat, factual, but underneath is an ocean of grief. 20 years ago, you were 6 months old. I came home and found. His voice breaks. He stops, breathing carefully. There was so much blood. Isabella was gone. And they told me you died too. In the ambulance on the way to the hospital. I buried an empty casket while you were actually being processed through the system under a different name. Sofia's legs give out. She sits down hard in the chair. This can't be real. The birthmark is genetic. Isabella had it. Her mother had it. It appears in women in her family going back generations. Dante crouches down so he's eye level with her, his face intense. I've spent 20 years searching. I hired investigators, paid off officials, and looked at every adoption record I could access. Street Catherine's records were locked down tight, but 6 months ago, you walked into my house. You knew? The betrayal cuts deep. You knew this whole time? I suspected. The timing was right. You were the right age, but I needed to be sure. His hand reaches toward her face, then stops, falling back to his side. I've lost you once, Sofia. I couldn't afford to be wrong. Sofia's mind races. 20 years of questions suddenly have answers. Why she never quite fit with the Martinez family, despite how much they loved her. Why she had nightmares about blood and screaming that Maria said were just a child's imagination. Why she sometimes looked in the mirror and saw a stranger. Who killed them? Her voice is steady despite the chaos inside. Who killed my mother? Who tried to kill me? Dante's expression hardens into something deadly. I don't know. That's what I've been trying to find out for 20 years. But you have ideas. I have suspicions. Nothing I can prove. He stands, moving back behind his desk like he needs the distance. I had enemies, business rivals who wanted what I was building. Isabella wasn't part of that world. She was a teacher, completely innocent. But someone decided hurting her would hurt me. They were right. Sofia looks down at the photograph still clutched in her hands. The woman Isabella, her mother, smiles out at her. Sofia tries to find herself in those features. The nose, maybe. The shape of the eyes. "Why didn't you fight the system?" she asks. "If you suspected I was alive, why didn't you?" "I tried." The admission sounds like it costs him. "I had lawyers, investigators. But I was young, stupid. I'd just lost everything, and I wasn't thinking clearly. By the time I pulled myself together enough to really search, the trail was cold. And honestly," he meets her eyes, "part of me thought maybe you were better off. Maybe wherever you'd ended up, you had a real life, a safe life, away from this." He gestures at the office, the wealth, the world he inhabits. "I did have a real life." Sofia's throat tightens. "Mama and Papa Martinez loved me. They gave me everything they could." "I know. I looked into them. They were good people." There's genuine respect in his voice. "I'm glad you had that, Sofia. Truly." They sit in silence for a long moment. Outside the windows, Chicago goes about its business, completely unaware that two lives just collided. "What happens now?" Sofia finally asks. Dante's jaw tightens. "That depends on several things. First, do you believe me?" "Does she?" Sofia looks at the photograph again, at the birthmark that's haunted her whole life, at this man who's spent 20 years searching, something deep in her chest. Some instinct she didn't know she had. Whispers. "Truth. I believe you," she says quietly. Relief washes over his face. "Second, I need to know if you want this." "Want?" "Me. As your father. I understand if you don't. We're strangers. I have no right to expect." "Stop." Sofia stands. "Just stop. I need time to process this. It's been 30 minutes and my entire life just got rewritten." "Of course. Take all the time you need." He pulls a card from his desk and writes something on the back. "This is my private number. Call me when you're ready to talk. Or don't call. That's your choice." Sofia takes the card with numb fingers. She moves toward the door, then stops. "Mr. Delgado?" "Dante. Please." She turns to look at him. This stranger who shares her DNA, who lost his wife and child and spent 2 decades searching. "Did you love her?" "My mother?" His face transforms, grief and love mixing into something almost unbearable to witness. "More than my own life. Every day without her has been survival, not living." Sofia nods once. Then she leaves, walking back to the elevator on shaking legs. The door closes and she leans against the wall, finally letting herself break. The tears come hot and fast. 23 years of questions finally answered in the most impossible way. The elevator descends, the doors open, and Sofia Martinez, or Sofia Delgado, or whoever she really is, steps back into the marble foyer of a house that might actually be her home. Sofia doesn't go back to work. She tells the head housekeeper, Mrs. Chen, that she's feeling ill and needs to leave early. It's not a lie, her entire body feels wrong, disconnected, like she's piloting a stranger's skin. She drives her beat-up Honda Civic through Chicago's streets on autopilot, not really seeing the traffic or the buildings. Her apartment in Pilsen feels smaller than usual when she finally arrives. 1 bedroom, peeling paint, a radiator that clanks in winter. But it's hers. She's paid for every inch of it with her own work. She drops her bag by the door and collapses onto the second-hand couch that still smells faintly of the thrift store she bought it from. The photograph Dante let her keep sits on her coffee table. She stares at it until her eyes blur. Isabella Delgado, her mother. Dead at 23, the same age Sofia is now. The thought makes her stomach twist. She reaches for her phone and scrolls through her photos. There's one of Maria Martinez from 2 years before she died, thin from the chemo, but smiling at Thanksgiving dinner. That's her mother, the woman who sat up with her through nightmares, who worked double shifts at the grocery store to pay for Sofia's school supplies, who told her every single day that she was loved. But biology doesn't lie, and neither does the ache in Sofia's chest that's been there her whole life, the sense that something was missing, even when Maria held her close. Her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. I know this is overwhelming. Take whatever time you need, but please know that you're safe. I have security watching your building. Not to control you, to protect you. If whoever killed Isabella learns you're alive, you're in danger. Sofia's hands tighten on her phone. Security? Watching her building? The protective instinct should probably anger her. But instead, she feels a strange flutter of something else. Someone cares whether she's safe. Someone who isn't obligated to. She types back, "How long have you been watching me?" The response is immediate. "Since the day I confirmed your identity. 3 weeks ago." 3 weeks and you didn't say anything? I needed to be certain. I needed to understand who you'd become. And I needed to ensure you weren't being followed by the wrong people. Sofia stands and moves to her window. She looks down at the street 3 stories below. There, a black SUV parked across the street that wasn't there this morning. The windows are tinted. As she watches, someone inside shifts position. Her pulse kicks up. "This is real. All of it is real. I need space," she texts. "But thank you. For protection. Anything you need. I mean that." Sofia sets her phone down and presses her forehead against the cool glass. 23 years of normal life just ended. She should be terrified. Instead, she feels strangely calm, like pieces of a puzzle she didn't know was scattered are finally clicking into place. The nightmares come that night. She's always had them, fragmented images of darkness and shouting, and the metallic smell of blood. But tonight they're sharper, more vivid. A woman screaming, hands grabbing her, the sound of gunshots that make her infant self shriek. Sofia wakes up gasping, her sheets soaked with sweat. It's 3 a.m. She reaches for her phone and stares at Dante's number for a long time before finally calling. He answers on the first ring. "Sofia?" His voice is alert, no trace of sleep. "What's wrong?" "Do I remember it?" The words tumble out. "The night they died." "Do babies remember trauma like that?" A pause. Then, gently, "Studies suggest infants can retain traumatic memories, even if they can't articulate them." "You've had nightmares?" "My whole life. Maria used to say I'd grow out of them." Sofia pulls her knees to her chest. "What happened that night? I need to know." "Are you sure?" "Yes." She hears him exhale. "I came home late. I'd been meeting with associates about a territory dispute. When I pulled up to the house, our house, not this estate, the front door was open. I knew immediately something was wrong." His voice is carefully controlled, but she can hear the old panic underneath. "I found Isabella in the nursery. She'd been shot, multiple times. You were supposed to be in your crib, but she'd hidden you in the closet, wrapped you in blankets, tried to muffle your crying." Sofia's throat tightens. "The paramedics took you both. At the hospital, they told me Isabella died in surgery. They said you'd stopped breathing in the ambulance. They worked on you, but..." He stops. "They showed me a body. A baby girl. I was in shock, not thinking clearly. I identified her. Later I realized the birthmark was wrong, covered with makeup. But by then, the official record said my daughter was dead. Someone switched us." Sofia's mind races. "Someone deliberately made you think I died." "Yes. I've spent 20 years trying to figure out who. The hospital records were altered. The paramedic who transported you disappeared 3 days later, found dead in an apparent robbery. Everyone involved either died or vanished. And you think it was business-related? One of your rivals?" "I thought so. But the more I investigate, the less sense it makes." Frustration bleeds through his control. "Most of my enemies at the time are dead now. The ones who aren't have alibis or no motive. Killing Isabella didn't help anyone. It just made me more ruthless." They sit in silence for a moment, connected by phone lines and shared tragedy. "I can't sleep," Sofia admits. "Every time I close my eyes, I see things that might be memories or might just be nightmares." "Would you like me to send someone? A doctor who could..." "No, no more strangers." She takes a breath. "Could you just stay on the phone until I fall asleep?" She can hear the emotion in his voice when he responds. "Of course. I'll stay as long as you need." Sofia lies back down, phone pressed to her ear. Dante starts talking quietly, steadily. He tells her about Isabella, how they met at a hospital fundraiser when he was 21 and trying to build his father's failing business into something legitimate. How she'd been volunteering, helping organize the event. How she'd called him out for his terrible small talk, and somehow that had been the beginning of everything. "She made me want to be better," he says. "Made me believe I could build something that didn't require violence. For a while, I almost succeeded." His voice is low, soothing. Sofia's eyes grow heavy. "She would have loved you," he continues. "The woman you've become. Strong, independent. Isabella always said our daughter would change the world. I think maybe she was right." Sofia's breathing deepens. The nightmares stay away. And on the other end of the line, Dante Delgado keeps watch until dawn. When Sofia wakes, her phone is dead on her pillow. Sunlight streams through her thin curtains. For a moment, she feels disoriented, then everything floods back. The birthmark, the photograph, the father she didn't know she had. She showers and dresses in jeans and a worn sweater. Her reflection in the mirror looks different somehow. Same dark hair, same hazel eyes, same face. But now she knows where they came from. Isabella Delgado's features layered over her own. Her phone charges enough to turn on. 7 missed calls from Mrs. Chen. A text from Dante. Good morning. I hope you slept better. No pressure, but I'd like to see you today if you're willing. We need to discuss your safety. Sofia stares at the message for a long time. Then she texts back. Okay, where? I'll send a car. 1 hour. She should feel manipulated, controlled, but instead, she feels curious, and maybe, underneath everything else, a little bit hopeful. The car that arrives is understated, a dark sedan, not the SUV from last night. The driver is a woman in her 30s with kind eyes and a professional demeanor. Miss Martinez? I'm Elena. Mr. Delgado asked me to drive you. She opens the back door. We'll go wherever you're comfortable. His office, a restaurant, somewhere public if you prefer. Where does he want to meet? He suggested his private residence, but he emphasized that it's only if you feel safe. Sofia considers. Going to his home, her biological father's home, feels like crossing a line, but they need privacy for this conversation. Okay, let's go. The drive takes them out of Pilsen, through downtown, into the Gold Coast neighborhood where old money and new power intersect. They pull up to a brownstone that looks modest from the outside but probably costs more than Sofia will earn in her lifetime. Elena walks her to the door, which opens before they reach it. Dante stands in the entryway wearing dark slacks and a gray sweater. No suit today. He looks younger, less intimidating. But his eyes, dark and assessing, are the same. Thank you for coming. He steps back to let her in. Coffee? Breakfast? You look like you haven't eaten. Coffee would be good. The interior of the brownstone is beautiful in an understated way. Hardwood floors, exposed brick, furniture that's expensive but comfortable. Not a mansion, a home. They move to a kitchen that's all marble countertops and high-end appliances. Dante makes coffee with practiced ease. You live here alone? Sofia asks, accepting the mug he offers. Usually. I have staff at the estate, but this is where I come when I need quiet. He leans against the counter. Isabella and I bought this house together. After she died, I couldn't bring myself to sell it. Sofia sips her coffee, letting the warmth ground her. You said we need to discuss my safety. Yes. His expression turned serious. Whoever orchestrated Isabella's murder and your disappearance went to significant effort to make me believe you were dead. They had inside help hospital staff, paramedics, possibly police. That level of coordination suggests serious resources. And you think they might still be a threat? If they learn you're alive, yes. The question is why they wanted you gone in the first place. He sets his own mug down. I've considered every angle. Was it about hurting me? Eliminating a potential heir? Something specific about you that I don't understand? Sofia's stomach twists. What do you want me to do? I want you to move into the estate. Temporarily. He raises a hand before she can protest. I know how that sounds. But my security there is comprehensive. You'd have your own wing, complete privacy. You can continue your life, work, friends, whatever you need, just from a secure location. I can't just disappear. I have a job, an apartment. You can quit the job. I'll hire you directly if you want to maintain the appearance of working. Your apartment, I'll cover the rent for as long as you need it. His voice is urgent now. Sofia, I lost you once because I wasn't careful enough. I won't make that mistake again. She wants to argue, wants to maintain her independence. But the fear in his eyes is real, and somewhere deep down, a part of her that's been alone her whole life, whispers, someone wants to protect you. Let them. For how long? She asks. Until we understand the threat. Until I know you're safe. He moves closer. I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to keep you alive. Sofia thinks about her cramped apartment, the nightmares, the constant struggle to make rent. She thinks about the photograph of Isabella holding her baby girl, about 20 years of searching. Okay, she says quietly, but I have conditions. Relief flashes across his face. Name them. I keep my privacy, my own space. I'm not a prisoner, and I'm not suddenly going to start calling you Dad and playing happy family. She meets his eyes. We take this slow. We figure out who we are to each other before we worry about labels. Agreed. And I want to help investigate. Whatever happened to my mother to Isabella, I deserve to know. I'm not just going to hide while you handle everything. He hesitates. The investigation could be dangerous. So is being ignorant. Sofia crosses her arms. You said Isabella made you want to be better. She sounds like she was brave, strong. I want to honor that. Let me help find who killed her. Something shifts in Dante's expression. Pride, maybe, and a hint of the grief he's carried for 20 years. You're exactly like her. That stubbornness, that courage. He nods once. Okay. We investigate together. But you follow my security protocols. No arguments. Deal. They shake hands. Formal, strange, but it's a start. I'll have Elena help you pack your things, Dante says. You can move in today. I'll brief the staff. Make sure everyone knows you're family, not an employee. Family. The word hangs between them, heavy with possibility. One more thing, Sofia says. The other staff, the people I worked with, they're going to have questions. Let them think I've hired you for a special project. Administrative work, something vague. He pulls out his phone. I'll make the announcement this afternoon. Sofia nods. Then, before she can overthink it, she asks, Can I see more pictures? Of Isabella? Dante's face softens. I have albums. Boxes of them. He gestures toward the stairs. Upstairs. In my office. Would you like to look now? Yes. They climb to the second floor. His office is lined with bookshelves and has a desk covered in papers and laptops. But what catches Sofia's attention is the cabinet in the corner. Dante opens it, revealing stacks of photo albums. I couldn't keep them at the estate, he admits. Too many memories. But I couldn't throw them away either. He pulls out the first album and hands it to Sofia. She sits in a chair by the window and opens it with trembling hands. Isabella Delgado smiles up at her from the first page. Young, radiant, wearing a yellow sundress. The caption reads, Summer 2004, Navy Pier. Sofia turns pages slowly. Isabella and Dante at their wedding intimate, just a handful of guests. Isabella is pregnant, glowing, one hand on her swollen belly. Isabella in a hospital bed, exhausted and beautiful, holding a newborn baby with a tuft of dark hair. That's you, Dante says quietly. He's moved to stand behind her chair. 2 hours old. Sofia traces the image with one finger. Her mother's face is tired but filled with such pure love that it makes Sofia's chest ache. This woman died protecting her. Hid her in a closet while bullets flew. Gave her life so Sofia could survive. She's beautiful, Sofia whispers. She was extraordinary. Dante's voice is rough, and she would be so proud of you. They spend the next hour going through albums. Dante tells stories how Isabella insisted on decorating the nursery herself, painting flowers on the walls, how she sang constantly, sometimes off-key, how she'd made Dante promise that their daughter would grow up knowing she was loved, no matter what. I broke that promise, Dante says. You grew up without me. You didn't know. Sofia closes the album. And I wasn't unloved. Maria and Carlos, they did their best. Tell me about them. So Sofia does. She talks about Sunday dinners and Carlos teaching her to ride a bike before he died. About Maria's terrible jokes and how she worked herself to exhaustion to give Sofia opportunities. About the hole Maria's death left, that Sofia is still learning to navigate. She sounds like a remarkable woman, Dante says when Sofia finishes. She was. Sofia's throat tightens. I miss her every day. You're allowed to love them both, you know. Isabella and Maria. Biology doesn't negate what you shared with the woman who raised you. The permission, the understanding makes something in Sofia's chest loosen. She nods, not trusting herself to speak. Dante's phone buzzes. He checks it, and his expression hardens. Excuse me, I need to take this. He steps into the hallway. Sofia hears the low murmur of his voice, sharp and controlled. When he returns 5 minutes later, his jaw is tight. Problem? She asks. Possibly. He runs a hand through his hair. One of my associates just reported an unusual activity. Someone's been asking questions about adoptions from 20 years ago, specifically from Street Catherine's agency. Sofia's stomach drops. Someone knows. Maybe. Or it could be unrelated. But his tone suggests he doesn't believe that. We need to move you today. Now, if possible. I need to pack. I'll send people to handle it. Right now, you're coming with me. He's already texting rapidly. Elena will drive us to the estate. My head of security will meet us there. Fear spikes through Sofia's veins. This is real. The danger isn't theoretical anymore, it's actively searching for her. Dante. Her voice is steadier than she feels. What happens if they find me? He looks at her, and his eyes are absolutely lethal. They won't. I've spent 20 years failing to protect the people I love. I won't fail again. The possessiveness in his voice should probably scare her. Instead, it makes her feel safer than she has in pre-years. Okay, she says. Let's go. If you're still with me in this emotional journey, please take a quick second to hit that like button and subscribe. It only takes a moment of your time but means the world to creators like me. Drop a comment with your thoughts on Sofia and Dante's story so far. The estate looks different in daylight. Still massive, still intimidating, but there's warmth to it now. Gardens in full bloom, windows that catch the afternoon sun. Elena pulls up to a side entrance, and Dante ushers Sofia inside quickly. They move through hallways. Sofia has cleaned 100 times, but now they're heading deeper into the private wings. They climb a staircase to the 3rd floor and walk down a corridor lined with artwork. Dante stops at a door and opens it. This was supposed to be yours. I've kept it ready for 20 years, just in case. Sofia steps inside and her breath catches. It's beautiful. Not a child's room, he's updated it over the years. But there are touches that speak of hope. A bookshelf filled with classics. A window seat overlooking the gardens. Soft blue walls and furniture that's elegant without being ostentatious. A door leads to a private bathroom with a clawfoot tub. I know it's not your apartment, Dante says. But I wanted you to have somewhere that felt like yours. Sofia turns in a slow circle, taking it in. 20 years of preparation. 20 years of a father refusing to give up hope. It's perfect, she whispers. A sharp knock interrupts the moment. A man enters tall, built like a soldier, with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. Boss, we've got a situation. Sofia, this is Marcus. He runs my security. Dante's voice is all business now. What's the situation? The inquiries about Street Catherines? They're coming from a shell company, but I traced the funding. It leads back to the Rossini family. The name means nothing to Sofia, but Dante's face goes carefully blank. Vincent Rossini? His son, actually. Tony Rossini. He's been making moves, trying to consolidate territory on the south side. Why would the Rossinis care about 20-year-old adoption records? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Marcus glances at Sofia. But if they're looking specifically at Street Catherine's from that time period, they're looking for her. The room suddenly feels colder. Increase perimeter security, Dante orders. I want eyes on every approach to this property. And dig deeper into the Rossinis, find out what they know, and how they know it. Already on it. Marcus nods at Sofia. Miss Delgado. Welcome home. He leaves. The door clicks shut. Sofia and Dante stand in silence. The Rossinis, Sofia says. Who are they? A crime family. Smaller than mine, but ambitious. Vincent Rossini and I have had disagreements over the years. Territory disputes, business conflicts. But nothing that would explain this. Could they have been involved? 20 years ago. I considered them at the time. Vincent had an alibi. He was in New York when Isabella was killed. His associates were all accounted for. Dante moves to the window, staring out at the grounds. But Tony would have been young then, maybe 18. If he was involved, he would have been following orders. Sofia's mind races. What if it wasn't about business? What if there's something else? Like what? I don't know. But people don't spend 20 years covering up a murder unless there's something worth protecting. She moves to stand beside him. What aren't you telling me? Dante is quiet for a long moment. Then, Isabella was pregnant when she died. Sofia's heart stops. What? 8 weeks. We hadn't told anyone yet. His jaw clenches. The autopsy revealed it. I never understood why someone would kill her. Then why not wait until after she'd given birth if they wanted leverage against me? Unless, Sofia's stomach turns. Unless the pregnancy itself was the problem. What do you mean? I don't know. But someone went to extreme lengths to make you think I died. They could have just killed me easier, cleaner. Instead, they hid me in the adoption system. Why? She turns to face him. What if they needed me alive but away from you? For what purpose? That's what we need to figure out. Sofia's mind is racing now, patterns emerging like they always do when she focuses. The birthmark. Is it just in Isabella's family? Yes, as far as I know. So anyone who saw it would know I was hers, which means someone at street. Catherine's knew exactly who I was when they processed me. She paces the room. They would have had to falsify records, create a new identity. That's not something low-level staff could do. Dante's eyes sharpen. You're thinking someone high up in the agency was involved. Has to be. And if the Rossinis are suddenly interested in those records now, maybe someone's blackmailing them. Or maybe they're trying to tie up loose ends. If they know you're alive, then they'll come for me. Sofia stops pacing and looks at him directly. But that also means we have leverage. They want something, or they're scared of something. We just need to figure out what. Dante stares at her for a long moment. Then, impossibly, he almost smiles. You have her mind. Isabella could see patterns like that, connections other people missed. I had a good teacher. Maria worked as a bookkeeper. She taught me to look for inconsistencies in numbers. Everything tells a story if you know how to read it. Then let's read this one. Dante pulls out his phone. I'm calling my investigator. We're going to pull every record from Street Catherine's we can access. Staff lists, financial records, adoption files. Someone left a trail. And the Rossinis? I'll arrange a meeting, carefully, publicly. If they're searching for you, I want to know why. His expression hardens. And if they were involved in Isabella's murder, they're going to answer for it. Sofia should probably be scared. Should probably be overwhelmed. Instead, she feels a strange sense of purpose settling into her bones. For 20 years, she's had nightmares without context, questions without answers. Now finally she has a path forward. I want to be there, she says. When you meet with them, absolutely not. Too dangerous. I'm already in danger. And if this is about me, I deserve to face them. Sofia, you said we'd investigate together. Or was that just something you said to make me feel included? She crosses her arms. I'm not a child. I'm 23 years old. And this is my life. My mother's murder. My answers are defined. Dante looks at her, really looks at her. Sofia can see the war playing out behind his eyes. The protective instinct versus respect for her autonomy. Finally, he nods. You stay behind me. You don't speak unless I give you permission. And if things get dangerous, you do exactly what Marcus or I tell you. Understood? Understood. Good. He moves toward the door, then stops. Sofia? Yeah? I'm glad you're here. In this house. That I get the chance to know you. His voice is rough with emotion. Even if the circumstances are complicated, something warm blooms in Sofia's chest. Not quite trust, not quite love, but the beginning of both. Me too, she says quietly. And for the first time since her world turned upside down yesterday, Sofia thinks maybe this impossible situation might actually work out. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. The next 48 hours pass in a blur of activity. Sofia's apartment is packed up by a team of professionals who handle her belongings with more care than she expected. Her few possessions, clothes, books, Maria's recipe box arrive at the estate and fill maybe a quarter of the massive closet in her new room. Marcus briefs her on security, protocols, where the panic buttons are hidden, which exists to use in an emergency, how to identify Dante's trusted people versus potential threats. It's surreal, learning to live like someone might want her dead. Because someone might. The investigation moves quickly once Dante puts his full resources behind it. His investigator, a woman named Rachel with sharp eyes and sharper instincts, pulls every record she can access from Street Catherine's adoption agency. What she finds makes Sofia's blood run cold. The agency closed down 15 years ago, Rachel explains, spreading documents across Dante's office desk. Sofia and Dante lean in to examine them. But before it shut down, there were irregularities. 3 other adoptions from the same 6-month period as yours all rushed, all with sealed records. Show me, Dante commands. Rachel points to highlighted sections. These 3 babies were all processed within weeks of each other. All had their original birth certificates altered. All were placed with families outside Illinois, 1 in Ohio, 1 in Wisconsin, 1 in Indiana. Spreading them out, Sofia murmurs, making them harder to track. Exactly. Rachel nods approvingly. And here's where it gets interesting. The caseworker who handled all 4 adoptions? A woman named Patricia Brennan. She quit Street Catherine's 2 months after your adoption was finalized. Disappeared completely, no forwarding address, no paper trail. Dead? Dante asks. Possibly, or hiding. Rachel pulls up another document. But before she vanished, she made one significant purchase. A house in Michigan, paid for in cash. $300,000, far more than a social worker should have been able to afford. Sofia's mind races. She was paid off. Someone gave her money to falsify records and disappear. That's my theory. Rachel looks at Dante. I'm still trying to track her down. If she's alive, she's living under a different name. Find her, Dante says. Whatever it takes. There's more. Rachel's expression turns grim. I did some digging into the Rossini family like you asked. Tony Rossini's been making interesting moves lately, buying up properties on the south side, consolidating power. But he's also been spending money. A lot of it. More than his legitimate businesses should generate. Meaning he's either running a very successful criminal enterprise, or someone's bankrolling him. Rachel slides another paper across the desk. 3 months ago, a shell company linked to Tony made a donation to a hospital foundation. Guess which hospital? Sofia looks at the document. St. Mary's. That's where you and Isabella were taken after the shooting. Dante finishes. His voice is deadly quiet. He's buying access to records. Or buying silence, Rachel suggests. If someone at St. Mary's helped cover up what happened 20 years ago, Tony might be paying to keep it that way. The pieces are starting to fit together. But the picture they form doesn't make sense yet. Sofia stands and moves to the window, thinking, why now? Why is Tony suddenly interested in covering tracks after 20 years? Maybe because you surfaced, Dante says. Word travels in our world. If someone reported that I'd hired a new staff member who looked like Isabella, or if Tony had people watching the estate, he could have figured it out. Sofia turns to face them. But that still doesn't explain why he cares. Why does my existence matter to him? Rachel and Dante exchange a look. What? Sofia demands. What aren't you telling me? Dante sighs. 20 years ago, there were rumors. Nothing I could ever confirm. But some people suggested that Vincent Rossini, Tony's father, was trying to merge the families. That he wanted to arrange a marriage between his son and Isabella. Sofia's stomach drops. Isabella was already married to you. Exactly. Vincent approached me about it before Isabella and I got together. I turned him down, told him she wasn't property to be traded. We married 6 months later. Dante's jaw tightens. Vincent took it as an insult. Things between our families got tense. But I never thought he'd kill her. Sofia's voice is hollow. You think Vincent Rossini ordered my mother's murder because she married you instead of his son? I considered it at the time. But Vincent had airtight alibis, and his organization was too small to pull off something that complex. Dante moves closer to Sofia. If he was involved, he would have needed help from inside my organization. Someone who could tell him when I'd be out of the house, when Isabella would be alone. A traitor, Rachel says quietly. The word hangs in the air like poison. Everyone from that time is dead or retired, Dante says. I've been through this 1,000 times. There's no one left who. He stops abruptly. What? Sofia presses. Except one person. Dante's expression goes hard. My uncle, Lorenzo Delgado. He was my father's brother, part of the organization back then. He retired 12 years ago, moved to Arizona. I haven't spoken to him since. Why not? Because after Isabella died, he suggested I remarry. Said the family needed an heir, that I should move on. Dante's voice drips with old anger. I cut him off. Wanted nothing to do with him. Rachel is already typing on her laptop. Lorenzo Delgado, 71 years old, lives in Scottsdale. Owns a restaurant, mostly legitimate. She pauses. But his financial records show regular payments from an LLC registered in Illinois. Want to guess who owns the LLC? The Rossinis. Sofia breathes. Vincent Rossini, specifically. Rachel turns her laptop around. Lorenzo's been receiving $50,000 a year for the past 20 years. The betrayal is staggering. Sofia watches Dante's face cycle through shock, rage, and finally, cold calculation. He sold her out, Dante says. My own uncle helped murder my wife for what? A payoff? An alliance? With the Rossinis? Or both, Rachel suggests carefully. Vincent wanted a connection to your organization. Lorenzo had access and opportunity. And with Isabella out of the way, they thought I'd eventually accept a marriage alliance. Dante finishes. Use it to merge the families under my control, with Vincent's son positioned to inherit. But you didn't, Sofia says. You never remarried. You never gave them what they wanted. No. Dante's voice is ice. I mourned. For 20 years, I mourned. And they got nothing. Sofia's mind is racing again, patterns clicking into place. Except now I'm here, alive. Proof that there's a blood heir to your empire, which means any marriage alliance is worthless, Rachel adds. You have a daughter. The Rossini family has no claim to your legacy. That's why Tony's scrambling, Sofia realizes. If word gets out that I exist, that I'm really your daughter, his father's entire plan collapses. All that money paid to Lorenzo. All the years of waiting wasted. So he's trying to tie up loose ends, Dante says. Patricia Brennan, the hospital records, anything that could prove what they did. And me, Sofia whispers. I'm the biggest loose end of all. The room falls silent. Outside the office windows, dusk is settling over Chicago. The city lights are starting to flicker on, beautiful and indifferent to the darkness being uncovered in this room. I'm meeting with Tony Rossini tomorrow night, Dante announces. Marcus has arranged at Neutral Territory, a restaurant downtown. Tony thinks we're negotiating a territory dispute. I'm coming, Sofia says immediately. Sofia, no arguments. We agreed. She moves to stand directly in front of him. He's threatening my life because of who I am. I deserve to face him. Dante looks like he wants to argue, but Rachel cuts in. She's right, boss. And honestly, having her there might shake him. If Tony sees that you're not hiding her, that you're acknowledging her publicly, it changes the power dynamic. It also puts her at risk. I'm already at risk, Sofia points out. At least this way. I'm not sitting here waiting for something to happen. Dante studies her face for a long moment. Finally, he nods. You stay close to me. Marcus will have the restaurant secured. And if I tell you to leave, you leave. No questions. Deal. Rachel starts gathering her documents. I'll keep digging into Patricia Brennan and the hospital records. If we can find solid proof of what they did, we can bury them, Dante finishes. Legally or otherwise. After Rachel leaves, Sofia and Dante stand alone in his office. The weight of what they've learned presses down on both of them. Your uncle, Sofia says quietly. I'm sorry. That kind of betrayal. I should have seen it. Should have questioned why he was so eager for me to move on, to remarry. Dante's hands clench into fists. Isabella trusted him. She called him Uncle Enzo, made him dinner, treated him like family. And he sold her out for $50,000 a year. What will you do to him? What would you have me do? The question surprises Sofia. She thinks about it carefully. About Maria, who taught her that justice and revenge aren't always the same thing. About Isabella, who from everything she's learned, believed in mercy. I want the truth, she says finally. I want him to confess what he did. I want to understand why. She meets Dante's eyes. And then I want him to face consequences. Real ones, not just death that's too easy. I want him to live knowing he destroyed his family for money he could never spend without guilt. Something shifts in Dante's expression. Respect, maybe. Or recognition of Isabella and her daughter's words. We'll do it your way, he says. After we deal with Tony Rossini, we'll bring Lorenzo in. He'll tell us everything. Promise me something, Sofia says. Promise me you won't kill Tony Rossini just for revenge. If we're going to do this, uncover the truth, get justice, we do it right. I can't promise I won't kill him if he threatens you. Fair enough. She almost smiles. But don't kill him just because you're angry. I'll try. It's the best she's going to get. And honestly, it's more than she expected. They stand in silence as night fully settles outside. You should rest, Dante says eventually. Tomorrow will be difficult. I'm not sure I can sleep. Would you like... He hesitates. Would you like to see more of Isabella's things? I have boxes of her belongings. Jewelry, clothes, letters she wrote. Things I couldn't bear to sort through but couldn't throw away. Sofia's throat tightens. I'd like that. They go upstairs to a room Sofia hasn't seen before. It's smaller than the others, lined with shelves and filing cabinets. Dante opens a closet, revealing stacks of boxes labeled in neat handwriting. I cataloged everything, he admits. Couldn't bring myself to let go, but needed some kind of order. They sit on the floor, and Dante opens the first box. Inside are letters, dozens of them, tied with ribbon. These are from when we were dating. She was teaching summer school in Wisconsin. I was in Chicago. We wrote constantly. He hands one to Sofia. Read it. She'd want you to know her voice. Sofia unfolds the letter with trembling hands. The handwriting is graceful, slightly slanted. Dear Dante, today one of my students asked me why we bother learning math when we have calculators. I told her that math teaches us to think, to see patterns, to solve problems. Then she asked if math could solve love, and I laughed. But the truth is, maybe it can. I've calculated the distance between us, 247 miles. I've counted the days until I see you again, 23. I've measured my happiness the moment I hear your voice, infinite. So maybe love is the most important equation of all, and maybe we're solving it together, one day at a time. Yours, Isabella. Sofia's vision blurs with tears. She sounds wonderful. She was. Dante's voice is thick. Every letter is like that. Smart, funny, full of love. She saw the world differently than everyone else, like you do. They spend the next hour going through boxes. Isabella's college graduation tassel, a pressed flower from her wedding bouquet, a journal where she'd written about her pregnancy, her hopes for her daughter. I hope she has Dante's strength and my optimism, one entry reads. I hope she knows she's loved beyond measure. I hope she changes the world. I haven't changed the world, Sofia says softly. You've changed mine, Dante responds. You came back from the dead. That's enough. Eventually, exhaustion wins. Sofia returns to her room, carrying one of Isabella's journals and a photograph of her mother laughing at the camera. She falls asleep with both tucked close, and for the first time in years, the nightmares don't come. The restaurant is called Giordano's, an upscale Italian place in River North, with white tablecloths and discreet service. Marcus secured the entire back room for the meeting, clearing out other diners and positioning his team at every exit. Sofia dresses carefully, dark slacks, a silk blouse, her hair pulled back. She looks professional, composed. Nothing about her appearance screams, Mafia princess, but she can see the resemblance to Isabella in the mirror, the same bone structure, the same determined set to her jaw. Dante knocks on her door at 7. He's in a dark suit, no tie, looking every inch the powerful man he is, but his eyes are worried when he looks at her. You can still change your mind, he says. Stay here where it's safe. I'm coming. Stubborn. Genetic. He almost smiles. Then he pulls something from his pocket, a small, elegant watch. This was Isabella's. She wore it every day. I want you to have it. Sofia takes the watch with trembling fingers. It's gold, simple, with an inscription on the back. All my love, always. D. I can't, this is too much. It's yours. It should have. Always been yours. He helps her fasten it around her wrist. It has a panic button built into the clasp. Press it 3 times quickly, and Marcus's team will come immediately. You turned my mother's watch into a security device? I added the feature after she died. Wishful thinking, maybe. That I could still protect her somehow. His voice cracks slightly. Now it can protect you. Sofia touches the watch gently. Thank you. The drive to the restaurant is tense. Marcus sits in front with the driver, constantly scanning their surroundings. 2 other cars follow security, making sure they're not followed. Tony Rossini is 38, Dante briefs Sofia quietly. He's been running his father's operations for the past 5 years since Vincent had a stroke. He's ambitious, reckless, and from what I hear, desperate to prove himself. That makes him dangerous. What's our play? We feel him out. See how much he knows, how much he suspects. If he reveals anything about Isabella's murder, Marcus's people are recording everything. He meets her eyes, but mostly, I want him to see you. To understand that you're real, you're protected, and his family's plan failed. They arrive at 8. The restaurant is beautiful, all warm lighting and exposed brick. Marcus ushers them through the main dining room to a private area in the back. 4 men already sit at a round table, 3 large men in suits who are obviously security, and 1 younger man who must be Tony Rossini. He stands when they enter. He's handsome in a polished way, expensive haircut, designer suit, confident smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Those eyes flick to Sofia with barely concealed interest. Dante Delgado. It's been a while. Tony extends his hand. Dante shakes it perfunctorily. Tony, you've moved up in the world since we last met. Someone had to, after my father's health declined. Tony's gaze slides to Sofia again. And you've brought a guest. How unexpected. My daughter, Sofia. Dante's. Hand rests protectively on her lower back. Sofia, this is Tony Rossini. The word daughter lands like a bomb. Tony's smile falters for just a second before reconstructing itself. But Sofia saw it, the flash of shock, quickly covered. I didn't know you had a daughter, Tony says carefully. Most people don't. I keep my family private. Dante pulls out a chair for Sofia, positioning himself between her and Tony. Shall we sit? They settle around the table. Servers appear with wine and appetizers, then disappear as Marcus signals. The security teams eye each other warily from their positions along the walls. So, Tony says, you wanted to discuss the South Side territories. The disputed blocks between. I'm not here about territories. Dante cuts him off. I'm here about the past. Tony's expression goes carefully blank. The past? 20 years ago. My wife's murder. Dante's voice is conversational, but there's steel underneath. I've been reinvestigating, finding new information. It's amazing what money and persistence can uncover. Tragic. What happened to your wife? But I don't see what that has to do with me. I was just a kid back then. 18. Sofia speaks for the first time. Old enough to follow orders. Old enough to keep secrets. Tony's eyes narrow at her. You look familiar. Have we met? No, but you might recognize me from photographs. She leans forward slightly. My mother had very distinctive features. I'm told I inherited them. Understanding flashes across Tony's face, followed by something darker. Fear, maybe, or calculation. Your mother, he repeats slowly. I thought Dante's daughter died. That was the story, baby died with the mother. Tragic accident. Not an accident, Dante says. Murder. Carefully planned, expertly executed. And my daughter didn't die. She was taken, hidden in the adoption system, her identity erased. And you think my family was involved? Tony tries for incredulousness. But it doesn't quite land. That's a serious accusation, Dante. Not an accusation, a fact. We have evidence, financial records, witness testimony, paper trails that lead directly to your father. Dante pulls out a folder and slides it across the table. Patricia Brennan. Does that name mean anything to you? Tony doesn't touch the folder. Should it? She was the social worker who falsified adoption records. She was paid $300,000 by a shell company controlled by Vincent Rossini. Dante's voice is deadly quiet now. She disappeared after the adoption was finalized. We found her 3 days ago. She's quite talkative when properly motivated. It's a bluff they haven't found Patricia yet. But Tony doesn't know that. His hand tightens on his wine glass. Even if that's true, what's it prove? My father made a donation to a children's charity. So what? The timing, Sofia says. The amount. The fact that she processed 4 adoptions in that 6-month period, all with falsified records. All babies who were supposed to be dead. Tony's composure is cracking. You're making connections that don't exist. My father ran a business. Money changed hands all the time. Lorenzo Delgado, Dante interrupts. My uncle. He's been receiving payments from your family for 20 years, $50,000 annually. What was he being paid for, Tony? Silence. Heavy, damning silence. Tony sets down his wine glass carefully. I want my lawyer. This isn't a legal proceeding. Not yet. Dante leans forward. But it could be. I have enough evidence to go to the FBI, to start an investigation that would tear your family apart. Or, he pauses. We can handle this ourselves. Our way. What do you want? The truth. All of it. Who gave the order to kill Isabella? Who pulled the trigger? Who helped hide my daughter? Dante's control is starting to slip, fury bleeding through. And why? What was the point? Tony looks between Dante and Sofia. His security team is tense, hands drifting toward weapons. Marcus's people mirror the movement. The room is a powder keg waiting for a spark. My father, Tony says finally, had a vision. A unified organization. The Delgado and Rossini families merged, stronger together than apart. He approached you about marrying Isabella to me. You refused. You took her for yourself. She wasn't property, Dante growls. No, but she was leverage. With her alive, married to you, there was no way to unite the families. My father... Tony stops, seeming to weigh his words. My father believed that without her, eventually you'd see reason. That grief would make you practical. That we could offer you an alliance, a new marriage, a way forward. So he had her killed, Sofia says, her voice shaking with rage. Murdered my mother to clear the way for a business deal. It wasn't supposed to go that way. Tony's composure fully cracks. The plan was cleaner, make it look like a robbery, take just her. But she fought back, tried to hide you. Things got messy. Who pulled the trigger? Dante's voice is lethal. I don't know. My father hired contractors, kept me out of the details. I was just supposed to... Tony stops. You were supposed to what? Sofia presses. To be ready. To marry you when the time came. Tony looks at Sofia with something almost like regret. You were supposed to grow up away from all this, safe and ignorant. Then, when you were old enough, my father would discover you. Dante's long-lost daughter, miraculously alive. He'd offer to help reunite you. You'd be grateful, beholden. Eventually, we'd marry, merge the families legitimately. The scope of the manipulation is staggering. 20 years of planning, of patience, of waiting for Sofia to be old enough to be used. But I found her first, Dante says. You weren't supposed to be looking. You were supposed to think she was dead. Tony's laugh is bitter. My father underestimated your grief. Thought you'd move on. Instead, you built a shrine to your dead wife and searched for 20 years. Because I loved her, Dante says simply. Something your father could never understand. Tony slumps in his chair. It doesn't matter now. My father's dying. Stroke left him barely functional. He's got maybe 6 months. All his plans, all his schemes, they die with him. Not good enough, Sofia says. He murdered my mother. He stole my life. 6 months of dying comfortably isn't justice. What do you want from me? Tony looks exhausted. I can't undo what happened. I can't bring her back. No, Dante says. But you can confess. Officially. Give me names, the contractors, the people at the hospital, everyone involved. Help me find Patricia Brennan. Testify against your father if necessary. He'd kill me. He's dying. And honestly, Tony, you should be more worried about what I'll do if you don't cooperate. The threat hangs in the air. Tony looks at his security team, but they're outnumbered and outgunned. Marcus's people have positioned themselves strategically. There's no winning this through violence. I want immunity, Tony says. From you and from the law. I cooperate. I walk away clean. I can arrange immunity from prosecution, Dante says. But walking away clean? That depends on how useful you are. They negotiate for another hour. Tony gives up names, locations, details about the conspiracy. Marcus records everything. By the time they're done, they have enough to destroy the Rossini family's reputation and potentially bring criminal charges. As they prepare to leave, Tony stops Sofia. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. About your mother. About all of it. Sofia looks at him, this man who was supposed to be her husband, who was complicit in her mother's murder. You don't get to apologize. You don't get absolution. You get to live with what your family did. She walks out without looking back. In the car, Sofia's hands are shaking. Adrenaline and rage course through her system. Dante takes her hand, squeezes it gently. You did well, he says. Isabella would be proud. I wanted to hurt him. Is that terrible? It's human. Dante's thumb traces circles on her palm. Wanting justice isn't the same as wanting revenge. You held yourself together, got the information we needed. That takes strength. Sofia leans her head against the car window, watching Chicago slide past. What happens now? Now we go after the others. Lorenzo, Patricia Brennan, anyone else involved. We build a case that even the FBI can't ignore. He pauses. And then we decide what kind of justice we want. Legal or otherwise. I want both, Sofia says fiercely. I want them in prison. But first I want them to know what they took from me. From us. Then that's what we'll do. Back at the estate, Sofia goes straight to her room. She's exhausted, wrung out emotionally, but she can't sleep yet. Instead, she sits at the window seat and opens Isabella's journal. The 20th of March, 2005. Sofia smiled at me today. A real smile, not just gas like the books say. She knows me. She knows I'm her mama. Dante says I'm imagining it, but I'm not. When I hold her, she calms. When I sing, she listens. She's brilliant already, I can tell. She's going to change the world. I'm so scared something will happen to her. Is that normal? This constant terror that someone will take her away? Dante says I'm being paranoid, that we're safe. But I can't shake this feeling that we're running out of time. If something happens to me, I hope she knows I loved her. I hope whoever raises her tells her every day that she was wanted, cherished, adored. I hope she grows up strong and fearless and kind. My baby girl, my beautiful Sofia, you're my whole world. Sofia closes the journal, tears streaming down her face. Her mother knew. Somehow Isabella knew she wouldn't get to watch her daughter grow up. And she loved her anyway, fiercely, completely. A knock on the door. Dante enters quietly. I thought you might need this. He hands her a glass of water and sits beside her on the window seat. She knew, Sofia whispers. Isabella. She wrote about being scared, about hoping I'd know I was loved. She had good instincts. She sensed danger even when I couldn't see it. Dante's voice is heavy with old guilt. I should have listened to her, should have taken the threats more seriously. You can't change the past. No. But I can ensure it doesn't repeat. He looks at her seriously. Tony's confession gives us leverage, but it also paints a target on your back. Until we've dealt with everyone involved, Lorenzo, Vincent Rossini, anyone else, you're still in danger. I know. I need you to trust me. Follow security protocols. Let Marcus's team protect you. Can you do that? Sofia thinks about Maria, who always said trust had to be earned. She looks at this man, her father by blood, stranger by circumstance, who spent 20 years searching for her. Who's willing to go to war to keep her safe. I trust you, she says, and means it. Dante's expression softens. He reaches out hesitantly, and Sofia leans into the embrace. They sit like that for a long time. Father and daughter, finally together after 2 decades apart. We're going to get through this, Dante promises. And when it's over, we're going to build something good. A real family. The one Isabella wanted for you. I'd like that, Sofia whispers. Outside the window, Chicago glitters in the darkness. Somewhere in that city, people who destroyed her family are sleeping, thinking they're safe. They're wrong. Sofia Delgado is done being a victim, done being a pawn. She's her mother's daughter, brilliant, brave, and ready to fight. And she's her father's daughter, too strategic, relentless, and absolutely unwilling to give up. Tomorrow, they'll continue the investigation. They'll bring Lorenzo in for questioning. They'll find Patricia Brennan. They'll dismantle the conspiracy piece by piece until everyone responsible faces justice. But tonight, Sofia allows herself to grieve. For the mother she never knew. For the 20 years stolen from them both. For the life she should have had. And then she'll get up and fight for the life she deserves. The confrontation with Lorenzo Delgado happens 3 days later. Marcus's team locates him in Scottsdale, living comfortably in a Spanish-style villa funded by blood money. They bring him to Chicago in the middle of the night, not violently, but firmly. By dawn, he's sitting in Dante's office, looking older and more frail than Sofia expected. She watches from the doorway as Dante stares at his uncle. The silence stretches, heavy with betrayal. You know why you're here, Dante finally says. Lorenzo's hands tremble. Dante, I don't. Dante's voice could cut glass. Don't try to explain. Don't try to justify. Just tell the truth. So Lorenzo does. The whole sordid story spills out how Vincent Rossini approached him with the marriage proposal. How he'd encouraged Dante to consider it. How he'd taken offense when Dante refused. Married Isabella instead. Built something beautiful without Lorenzo's input. I was supposed to be your advisor, Lorenzo says bitterly. Your father's brother, but you pushed me aside, made decisions without me. Vincent offered me respect, partnership, real power. So you sold out your family for your ego, Sofia says from the doorway. Both men turn to look at her. My mother died because you felt undervalued? Lorenzo's face crumples. I didn't know they'd kill her. Vincent said he'd just scare her, Make her leave. When I heard she was dead, that the baby was dead, he breaks down sobbing. I wanted to confess, but I was in too deep. The money kept coming, and I told myself I deserved it, that it was compensation for years of being ignored. You're pathetic, Dante says flatly. You betrayed Isabella, who treated you like family. You helped murder an innocent woman and steal her child. And for what? 50,000 a year? I'm sorry, Lorenzo weeps. I'm so sorry. Sorry isn't enough, Sofia says. She moves into the room, standing beside Dante. You're going to confess everything to the FBI. You're going to testify against Vincent Rossini and anyone else involved. And then you're going to prison. I'm an old man. I'll die there. Good, Dante says without mercy. You should have died 20 years ago with some honor intact. Now you'll die a traitor. Lorenzo is taken away by Marcus's team, still sobbing. The FBI is contacted. Deals are made. Within a week, the conspiracy unravels completely. Patricia Brennan is found living in Minnesota under an assumed name. She confesses in exchange for a reduced sentence. Vincent Rossini dies before he can be prosecuted, but his legacy is destroyed, his son turned state's witness, his empire dismantled. The hospital administrator who helped falsify death certificates is arrested. The paramedics' robbery is reinvestigated, revealing it was actually an execution. Justice comes slowly, but it comes. 6 months later, Sofia stands in a cemetery on the outskirts of Chicago. The headstone is new, elegant. Isabella Delgado, beloved wife and mother. Her love echoes eternally. Beside it, a second headstone that used to read Baby Girl Delgado has been replaced with, in memory of the daughter we thought we lost, found again after 20 years. Love transcends even death. Sofia places flowers on both graves, white roses for Isabella, pink tulips for the baby that never was. Hi, Mom, she says quietly. I'm sorry it took so long to visit properly. Things have been complicated. Dante stands a few feet back, giving her space. They've been living together for 6 months now, slowly building the relationship they were denied. It's not perfect, they're both stubborn, both scarred by loss. But they're trying. I read all your journals, Sofia continues. Your letters, your hopes for me. I want you to know I heard them. I'm trying to live up to the woman you wanted me to be: strong, kind, brave. She touches the headstone gently. I met your husband. My father. He's good. Mom. Complicated and sometimes scary, but good. He loved you so much. He never stopped looking for me. Her voice cracks. I wish you were here. I wish we could have had more time. Dante moves closer, resting a hand on her shoulder. But I'm here now, Sofia says firmly. And I'm not going anywhere. The people who hurt you, they're facing justice. Your death meant something. Your love meant something. I'm going to make sure the world knows that. They stand in silence for a while, remembering a woman who died too young, whose love shaped everything that came after. Come on, Dante says gently. Let's go home. Home. 6 months ago, that word would have referred to her tiny apartment in Pilsen. Now it means the estate. Her room filled with Isabella's belongings and her own books. It means family dinners with Dante, quiet evenings in his office helping with legitimate business ventures. It means Marcus's security team who've become almost like protective older brothers. It means Mrs. Chen fussing over her weight and whether she's eating enough. It means belonging somewhere. They drive back through Chicago as afternoon fades to evening. Sofia watches the city slide past her city now, in ways it never was before. She's enrolled in business school, working toward her MBA. During the day, she studies. At night, she helps Dante shift his operations toward legitimate enterprises. They're building something new. Something Isabella would be proud of. I got a call from Rachel today, Dante says as they pull up to the estate. Tony Rossini completed his testimony. The prosecutors think they have enough to convict the hospital administrator and Patricia Brennan. Lorenzo's trial starts next month. Good. Sofia's voice is firm. They should all pay for what they did. They will. Dante parks and turns to face her. I've been thinking about something. When this is all over, when the trials are done and you've finished school, what do you want to do? What do you mean? Your life. Your future. You didn't ask for any of this. The Mafia world, the danger, the complexity. You could walk away if you wanted. I'd make sure you had everything you needed. Money, security, education. You could build a normal life. Sofia considers the offer. 6 months ago, she might have taken it. But now, I don't want normal, she says slowly. Normal is boring. And honestly, this is my legacy too. Isabella's legacy. I want to honor that by helping you build something better. Something that keeps the power and influence, but loses the violence. Dante's face softens. That's ambitious. I learned from the best. Sofia grins. Isabella was a teacher who believed in changing the world. You're a strategist who built an empire from nothing. I'm their daughter. I can do both. Yes, Dante says. You can. They go inside together, father and daughter, partners in building a future that honors the past without being imprisoned by it. That night, Sofia sits at her desk and opens a new journal, not Isabella's, but her own. She writes, My name is Sofia Delgado. I'm 23 years old. 6 months ago, I learned my entire life was built on lies and tragedy. But I also learned that love persists, that family can be found even after 20 years, that justice, though delayed, eventually comes. I don't know what the future holds, but I know I'm not facing it alone anymore. I have my father complicated, protective, trying his best. I have the memory of my mother brave, loving, forever young. And I have myself stronger than I knew, braver than I imagined. To anyone reading this someday, this is what I learned. Loss doesn't have to define you. Tragedy doesn't have to destroy you. And love, real, true love, echoes across decades, across death, across every obstacle thrown in its path. My mother loved me enough to hide me in a closet while she died protecting me. My father loved me enough to search for 20 years. That kind of love doesn't just disappear. It transforms everything it touches, including me. Sofia closes the journal and looks at the photograph on her desk, Isabella holding baby Sofia, both of them smiling. She touches the birthmark on her shoulder, the one that connected her to a past she didn't know she had. Thank you, she whispers to the photographer. For everything. For fighting. For loving. For making me possible. In the hallway outside her room, she hears Dante moving around, doing his nightly security check, making sure windows are locked, alarms are set, his daughter is safe. He'll never stop protecting her. She knows that now. It's not control, it's love. The kind of love that waits 20 years, that tears apart conspiracies, that rebuilds families from ashes. Sofia turns off her light and settles into bed. For the first time in her life, she feels completely, utterly safe. She has a father who would move heaven and earth to keep her secure. She has a mother's memory guiding her forward. She has a future bright with possibility. And she has herself, Sofia Delgado, survivor, fighter, daughter of love that refused to die. The nightmares don't come anymore. Instead, she dreams of Isabella smiling, of Dante's rare laughter, of a life built on truth instead of lies. She dreams of home. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.